That'll be you.
Sick. What is up, everybody? This is episode 332 of Shut Up and Scribble. JK, I don't even know where we're at. We're probably at like episode 20, maybe. What do
More
you
than
think?
20.
More than
More
20?
than 20. Yeah.
Dope. Well, killing it. Killing it so far. Today, we're going to talk about me freaking whipping that thing out and smacking these little boys around each week of the Open. And by thing, I mean fitness. We're also going to talk about some of Dave Castro's hints, the mushroom cap. I know you guys have all seen it. And if you ask me, I know exactly what that's hinting towards. It's something that does a little bit.
Let's just go ahead and pull that up and get it out of the
All
way.
right. Present, share screen. So excited. Boom. Wow. Look at that thing. A fungi in all its glory.
I think we should read Peter's comment.
Okay.
You were right. This gives it away. This is the poisonous genus Armanta muscaria. The rest is pretty obvious, especially once people remember who discovered the species in the late 1780s. LOL, death by burpees, and Cal Rowe.
Wow. Do you think he's onto something there, or Peter's just a dumb Irishman?
So I think a lot of people are talking about the subtle hints maybe that he's already given about how he was excited about 24.1 because it was beautifully programmed, but also format unique to the Open. So a lot of people start thinking about what have they not done in the Open? Obviously, we've done for time, we've done AMRAPs, we've done some intervals in the form of like mandated rest. What have we not done?
We've never done AMRAP repeats.
We've never done a true death by, like
Right.
a true death by. The chest to bar overhead squat kind of was, but it wasn't like an on the minute what you think of as traditional death by.
Never done an imam till failure.
Right. Never done a true on the minute death by. So to Peter's point, I mean, I could definitely see something like that. I'm actually in the camp of a fight gone bad style. I kind of push back against the idea that they're going to do fight gone bad. It does make sense from a standpoint of like the fittest people will be able to push the intensity. The community people have been doing fight gone bad for however many years, but never actually done it in competition, blah, blah, blah. I think 75-55 for a sumo deadlift high pull and a shoulder to overhead, as well as a 20-inch box jump for males. I think it's a little bit irresponsible to do for the Open, but that doesn't mean they won't do it. I could see something more like a fight gone bad style, but just maybe tweaking the movements a little bit.
And what movements would you think?
I could see something like keeping it a barbell that can be used for two movements, like maybe a ground to overhead or just a power snatch, and then maybe a push press after that or shoulder to overhead, but a little heavier, like 95-65. And then after that, you can keep the cow row. You could keep the box jump, but maybe make it 24 and 20 with a mandatory step down, or just make it box jump over. And then you could still keep the wall ball. So I think just that style does make sense, and it hasn't ever been used in the Open before. Mm-hmm. So three rounds, 1 minute per movement, 5 movements, 1 minute rest in between for anyone that doesn't know what fight gone bad is.
Sheesh.
Because it would still be, for the best in the world, it would be almost like okay, who's gonna drop the thing first? Whether it's like a third round of power snatches for a minute straight, or it's just who's going to slow down on the row. And in the end of the day, it's who's going to be able to row the hardest. And there's nothing nastier than that.
You think somebody's holding on to a 95-pound barbell for the whole minute?
Yeah. See, I think there would create a little bit of separation there for something like that. But then you get into the conversation of, because a lot of people do when they think about fight gone bad. Well, the row doesn't really matter because getting a calorie is so much harder than getting one shoulder overhead at 75 pounds, which I get.
Right.
Would they do sumo deadlift high pull in the Open? I think they would. Should they? I don't think they should. But if they were going to bring it back, because the last time it was done was the regionals chipper workout with 135-95. If they were going to bring back a sumo deadlift high pull, the Open is probably the best case scenario for online competition. I think that's a movement that should be like a pistol that should be done in person when you have someone judging. But if they're going to do it in an open or a quarters, I say go ahead and do it in the open when it doesn't matter as much.
I like swim to the 5 holes a lot. I'm in a frame of mind. My brain is in a framework where I'm transitioning, big word, polarizing word, from analyzing programming, preparing everyone on Sentinel and my program as best I can. And by my program, I mean Sentinel, for people doing the open and then quarterfinals. I'm transitioning a bit from that. I've got like a really good framework of all 3 weeks of the open and then the 5 weeks leading into quarterfinals out. I feel like I have to transition like my brain a bit away from like the guessing game and the analyzing game, because whatever comes out, I want to, but also need to disregard any thoughts of dumb, good, cool, not cool, and just smag it. And I don't remember feeling like this. Well, last year I did some of the open workouts, and when they were announced, I just had this like feeling in my gut, like, oh, I want to do that. And I didn't try to like, overanalyze anything. I don't feel like I would try to overanalyze anything, but I also want to make a conscious decision to pull back a little bit of the analytical, cuckery, and just get ready to.
Yeah, as an athlete and someone that's getting ready to compete like you are against these 3 guys that are all really fit, the mindset definitely has to be, hey, this is the task and this is what I'm going to do. And it doesn't matter if I like it. It doesn't matter if I think the movements go well together. It doesn't matter. It's like, talking about how much you like it or don't like it doesn't mean anything.
So. Yeah. And also I have to get out of the frame of mind of, will this be good for me? Will it not be good for me? And the frame of mind needs to be, how do I do my best on this workout? And that's it.
Right.
What was the other thing we were going to pull up from Dave?
So the other thing we were just going to talk about was today on the affiliate town hall, Dave told the people on the call that there would be no need for tape in the open.
Oh, wow. The entire open?
There'd be no need for tape in the floor. So
no wall walks.
You think about wall walk, handstand, push up, if they were to use the standard from last year. But then you also need to think about shuttle runs, lunging, or even like a farmer's carry back and forth in 25-foot segments. All that you would think would be off the table. Now, a couple of weeks ago on the weekend review, he read a comment from a garage gymmer that was a little concerned about quarterfinals and whether or not he would be able to compete in quarterfinals working out at his home. Dave's response was, if this guy has the equipment that he needs to complete the workouts, I have no doubt that he'll be able to do quarterfinals from a garage gym.
He said, no doubt?
He said,
you will be.
He said he'll be able to. So without reading into it too much and taking Dave at his word, because I think you should, I think the chances of them using a 25-foot distance requirement is very, very slim, whether it's not doing shuttle runs this year, whether it's not doing handstand walks, whether it's not doing lunges. I still think they'll do lunges. I think they'll just do them stationary. Rogue and Wadapalooza have both shown in their contingency plans that a step back lunge loaded is still a very viable competition movement. You can clearly see hip and knee extension on camera. The whole lunging away from the camera, lunging back to the camera, that's taken out of the equation at all. Now, a lot of people would say, well, they can't do quarterfinals without doing handstand walks. Dude, if you did a 21-15-9 workout, or you did a 9-15-21 workout, or you did an up and back chipper, or you did whatever style workout, and you put a chunk of 21 wall walks in there, you're as much as you like or don't like the movement, you're going to still get the same thing. Who has good shoulder stamina and who doesn't? So whether it's a handstand hold, a lot of people think that could trickle down to the draw a box, do a handstand hold. I don't really like that in a 4-time setting where you have to have something timed. I think that gets a little bit sticky, especially online and not in person. But I mean, when I think about tape, those are all the things that come to my head. And since he said that about the quarterfinals, I can see them. Since he said that on the weekend review about that guy being able to do the quarterfinals workout, if you don't need the 25-foot section, it's not so much what is off the table. It's no, what do we really focus on now? Like as a programmer in your shoes, if you're like, okay, there's not going to be shuttle runs. To me, I think you think about there could be a huge volume of some other kind of monostructural movement, whether it's double under workout, whether it's just box jumps or box jump overs, because yeah, it's a gymnastics movement, but at this point in the game, we can kind of agree that a lot of box jump overs is more of just another monostructural movement.
I agree to a degree in the sense that you can run 10K, you can run for an hour and not be beat up. And people, if you can't run for an hour and not be beat up, you just suck at running. Love you guys. But you can't do box jump over step downs for an hour the same way you can run for an hour. Do you know what I mean?
So like the amount of time that it took us last year to do the 800-meter shuttle run, the 50 shuttle runs to start and end the workout, you can't feasibly see them just doing a huge set of box jump overs.
No, I could see you doing a huge set of box jump overs in place of something like that without a doubt. I'm just saying I don't agree when you say it's the same thing as monostructural. I agree that in some instances it's interchangeable and to get at the same stimulus, but it's not as cyclical to say you could do this for 3 hours.
Yeah,
like
but
the bike.
Sure. And then we get into the semantics of, okay, so a 300 double unders, does that stray away from monostructural and does that just become shoulder stamina? Like that it's that kind of question, right? It's like everything isn't like rowing or isn't. I mean, if you do something for long enough, there are things that take over other than your aerobic capacity. But if they don't do shuttle runs, which a lot of people think they should do away with and just take a break from for a while, you've got double unders. You've got me and you talk all the time about, like, I think something like a bar facing burpee should be thought of more as a monostructural movement and not as a gymnastics movement.
Again, I think depends. Predictions. So you're thinking a death by a fight combat style. This is my initial reaction reading this is funny, but I know it's a genuine question. And the reason my initial reaction is this is funny is this, like, I really don't know that I would qualify for semifinals to begin with. It really does depend on what comes out. I can do everything right now, but being able to do everything and being prepared to do everything are two completely different things. And so while my squatting is just coming back, it's not super strong. So 4 rep max front squat comes out, I'm not going to have a 4 rep max good number in 2 months. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe, but who knows? So I'm not banking on it, and nor am I trying. But if the workouts come out and they're good for me, we'll see.
If he makes it, he's going.
To semifinals?
Yeah.
And that is also a big I don't know.
We'll just see how it goes. I know that the Open is coming up, and we went through last week some workouts that we thought still hold up in 2024 as viable Open workouts for both the community and for the elite competitor. Instead of just going back through those and saying, oh, I think Colton has the edge on this workout because it has handstand push-ups in it, I think we're just going to take the Open for what we know it's been, especially the last few years, kind of come up with a laundry list of movements for the next 15, 20 minutes, and just you and your competitors going through movements that we think you have an advantage over them or they have an advantage over you, maybe argue about it a little bit. And there are going to be some movements that are kind of a push. There are going to be some movements that are like, I mean, you're both good at barbell cycling. So can we really say that someone has an advantage, you or Dallin? That kind of thing.
Right. All right, kick us off, bro. First Open movement, most likely Open movement to come up in 24.1. Spit. 3, 2, 1, go. Gun to your head.
A light power snatch. Like not, I would just say, let's just say anywhere from 75 pounds to 135.
Probably advantage Dallin, advantage Colton, advantage me over Jason. Depending on the weight. Maybe 135. With Colton.
Okay, so and I obviously have an advantage of seeing Jason train a lot, and I don't see Dallin and Colton train a lot at all, and I don't see you train a lot. If it's something where the high volume of just hinging pattern is going to start to take over, I will take Jason. If it's just like over and over and over 95 or 75 pound muscle snatches or really, really light power snatches, if it's heavy enough to where you have to do singles, and there's a line, like we can talk about that. Do you think it's 115? Do you think it's 135? Like, where is it where it's like, okay, touch and go is dumb. It's going to be quick singles. If it's a quick singles workout, I take you over almost anyone, just because I know how good and disciplined you can be doing singles, cycling a barbell.
Maybe.
Especially in a snatch.
Clean and jerk too. But I kind of disagree on the Jason thing. I think he has advantage at 95 pounds. I think it's see, for me at that point, at a 95 or 65 pound bar, it no longer becomes hinge limiting. It becomes grip limiting.
Really?
And so I would say at that point, yeah, for sure. I would say at that point, probably that's why advantage Jason. He's taller, heavier. It's not as much percentage of his body weight.
You don't think it just has to do with like whose back's going to blow up first?
My back never blows up on power snatches, ever. I would say the only.
So it would have to be a heavy hinge for your low back to start to be a limiting factor.
Even
like a 315 deadlift for a ton of reps.
Right. I think it would have to be a 315 deadlift for my back to start blowing up, or it paired with like hip extension, flip, or hip flexion. Like, for example, my back got super blown up on that 30-minute AMRAP I posted of sandbag to shoulder and box jumps, and it was lit up most on the box jumps. But like a 70,
a long time.
Yeah, like the power snatch, I don't ever really feel it on my low back. Like when we did the 22.2 together, me and Jason, I was never at a point where like, oh, my back is on fire. My body was just like not functioning any longer because I was full of lactic acid like everywhere. And so I was just getting slow, and like my midline was super fatigued, but I didn't have like my back lit up. I think I weigh 190 something. I don't know what my weight is exactly right now.
I'm not texting. I'm looking up a workout. Okay, let's since we're talking about high volume hinging, and this is one of the predictions that I think is at least a decent one. It's been forever since there's been anything over like a 225 deadlift in the open. So the last time I did it was the Diane into the heavier Diane handstand walk workout. So it's been 4 years. If they were to do something like a deadlift box jump ladder where the reps go up and the loading goes up, and it's regular box jump, so you've got to have that hip extension at the top, is that like oh God, if there's anything that comes out, I don't want to do that.
Repeat that? Deadlift box jump?
Because that one went up to what, 365? Then the reps went up as the weight went up. And that's something that's not done very much in the open. It's not done very much, period. There's only been a handful of workouts programmed by Dave or Boz that the weight has gone up as the reps have gone up. And that open workout is one of them. And I think a heavier deadlift, especially for the general population, especially if they get to work themselves up into what's heavy relative for them, makes a little bit more sense than like a snatch or a clean and jerk.
I would not be nervous about it. I don't think right now I'd probably have an advantage over Jason or Dallin. And I don't know. I mean, I've been deadlifting a lot, but again, my top end strength is, I've PR'd my deadlift. So my top end strength is probably better than ever, but I don't have the volume of reps at some of those heavier weights under my belt at this moment in time.
Thrusters. Let's go thruster. So I think Colton's it's going to be hard for anyone to beat Colton. And
depends on the weight
in any kind of squatting workout.
But I agree with that. Against Colton, no advantage at no weight. Unless it's paired with something that I'm really good at.
So let's go thruster row
versus Colton
versus all three.
Okay. Oh,
so that's going to change it a little bit against probably Down and Jason versus like thruster bar facing burpee
at 95 pounds. I don't know. I'd probably give advantage all three. Thruster bar facing burpee right now. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. We're going to do thrusters together this weekend. You'll be able to have a bit more of a 95-pound thrusters that felt really good for me recently.
Yeah. What if it's like, let's just say it's a 135 thruster?
Definitely advantage all three. I've done 135 thrusters once in the past 2 years, and that was like a week and a half ago. And that's the example of like, I've just begun to squat heavier again. So something like that is.
What about, because you sent me a workout you did last week, or maybe even 2 or 3 days ago, with a lot of squat snatches at 135. Why does that movement? Is it because you're not squatting over and over again with
No,
as
I think
little?
I think it's receiving the bar into the eccentric like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just receive it differently in a thruster where it almost pushes you down and you're using that bounce to come back up. Whereas when you receive the bar for a snatch, you're trying to push up against it. Theoretically.
Okay.
You're not trying to just let it bury you into the bottom or bounce you into the bottom. So like a 95-pound barbell for a thruster is super. It's the weight is such that it doesn't affect me at all. Whereas I don't quite have the tolerance or confidence in it at 135 yet. Whereas a squat snatch, you're not receiving it into the eccentric in the same way for whatever reason.
So you asked me about predictions for week 1, and I think like a lighter ground to overhead or a snatch. It's been programmed so much by Dave. I don't think it's outlandish to think it would come back up again this year, since he's it seems like he's at least very, very involved with the programming at this stage. Snatch ladder advantage you over everybody. And I'm saying like a 12.2 style where it's just a barbell and it's 30 reps, 30 reps, 30 reps, max reps. Or if there's fitness involved, like a 17.3 that had the chest to bar and the snatch ladder. If it's squat snatch, do you think you have an advantage over all three?
Depends on how.
Is that one of those movements that you just think, hey, if it's squat snatch, I'm going to be hard to beat?
I would say at my fittest, yes, anyone hard to beat. Like anyone would have a hard time beating me if the workout is squat snatching. Again, I think right now it depends on the weight and what it goes up to and where the weights are. If it's power, I think it's probably advantage me over Jason, advantage me over Colton. I don't know about Dallin. I don't know how his power, what his cycling, what his discipline's like. If it's squat, probably less so right now, again, just because I don't know that I have the
right. Best all-time snatches 295.
Yeah,
but you hit 275 just last week.
Yeah, last week I hit 275
in a workout.
Yeah, in a workout.
So I mean, you can still snatch when you need to.
Yeah.
Do you think ring muscle up come back, or do you think this is a year that we don't see him?
I don't know how to predict that. They're saying that all of the open workouts. Didn't he say that they're like they aren't going to be skill limiting?
He was basically saying that the creativity is not what's going to, I guess, move anyone, but it's the intensity that certain people can put into them that will make them what they are. Let's say ring muscle ups come out. Is that another one where it's like, hey, it's advantage me, or do you still give the edge to one of the three of them?
Anything ring muscle up is going to be advantage me over all three of them, and not by a little bit.
Okay.
By a lot. Hey, listen to all this pussy ass shit up in here. Nah.
No, I think Taylor's actually giving this thought, and he's pushing back on his usual I'm better than them at everyone mindset. He's actually thinking about these legitimately. I give him props for that.
They're very good, all three of them. But so am I. I think generally speaking, right now, if there's something that I am not ready to compete with the best in the world in, it's heavy squatting. And that's really it. So if it doesn't involve heavy squatting, I think it really just depends.
Let's go wall ball dependent workout.
Oh, but with what?
Just wall ball dependent. So the
At
whatever.
20
So
pounds?
whatever. Let's just say it's like 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. No. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So that's 210 wall ball. And same number of double unders, like an amount that just doesn't matter. And it's just like, okay, it's a wall ball workout. So you get a workout where the wall ball is what matters. Do you give yourself an edge over? I know you don't over Jason. Do you give yourself an edge over Dallin or Colton in a wall ball workout?
Probably over Colton. I don't know about Dallin. It comes down to wall ball cycle speed. That's another weird thing. That's like, that would not be an issue for me at all to do any of the reps. But like like some people have like, they like receive the ball in the bottom of a squat and just do their wall ball super fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, for all the programming nerds that are maybe watching or will listen to this, that workout was just off the top of my head, and that might not even be appropriate for athletes at this level. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to think of a workout where, hey, it's going to come down to who can do a set of blah, 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 who can do a set of 100 unbroken, where it's like all that matters is the wall ball and how good you are at that movement. What about handstand push-up?
Advantage over Jason, advantage over Dallin.
I was going to say, we already have kind of said that if there's not going to be a need for tape, I would hope that they're not going to change the standard again for a handstand.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything. It's what I'm going to get annoyed because when he says you don't need tape and like there's not going to be, okay, what's going to cause separation is not going to be the creativity, but the intensity at which people can hit things at. Well, that just sounds to me like there's going to be nothing skilled, but there is going to be heavy barbell, which to me is, you know,
do you
dumb as fuck. If you're listening,
bar,
Dave,
chest to bar pull up
advantage over all of them.
You think you're better than Colton at chest to bar?
Does he think he's like the best in the world at chest to bar?
No. Why do you?
No.
Okay. I'm asking.
Is the speed of repetition what's dependent, or being able to just do them forever?
Let's just kind of think about it like we did the wall ball.
If it's speed, Colton, if it's how many can you do durably? I don't know how good of a puller he is, but I know how good of a puller I am.
Okay.
So off that basis, I give myself the edge.
All right. So Dallin just finished what? 5th in the games? Is that what he finished last year?
Yeah.
What is he better than you at?
He's stronger, without a doubt.
Okay.
Better than me at barbell cycling. I would say he's better than me at squatting in workouts for the most part. I would say he's probably better than me at deadlifting heavy in workouts for the most part. I would say he's better than me at.
What about like and we're probably not going to see something like this in the open, but what if it's like overhead squat toes to bar type combination where he's got really good shoulder positioning. Obviously he's really good at toes to bar. I think about how well he did on the Echo Bike toes to bar workout at semis. If you take that couplet and let's just say the weight is like a 185, like it's a 185 overhead squat with toes to bar. How do you see that kind of workout with Dallin
right now? Or for sure, Dallin. I think give Dallin the edge. Under 130.
Okay.
Under 135, I think me. Maybe depends on the cycle speed and what's necessary. Like if it's, high reps overhead squat, maybe him edge. Fully healthy at 185 overhead squats and toes to bar. I like my advantage.
Burpee dependent workout. Any kind. Burpee box jump over, burpee box jump, bar facing burpee, lateral burpee over a dumbbell.
Advantage over both Jason and Dallin. Depends on the burpee with Colton. I don't know. I told you it depended on the burpee with Colton. We got a really similar time on 17.1 or 20.1, 21.1.
21.2. Yeah.
So depends. I think generally speaking, Colton's going to beat everyone in the world at burpees. if it's like a burpee bar muscle up or a burpee chest to bar or a burpee. If we're doing burpee pull up at Charlotte, bro, let me tell you, Cole, we're not adjusting the pull up our height. We're all going the same height, bro. An advantage me, 100%. Hundo, one hundo P.
I want to say that I can't remember it. I can't remember whose show it was on, so I don't want to say it and offend the person. Wouldn't it be the most Boz / Dave thing to do than to just put burpee pull-ups in a workout again? Where, I mean, now that we kind of know there's going to be no tape, it kind of spoils that. But wouldn't it be the most true to FU thing for them to just be like, all right, cool, you said the shuttle runs didn't matter last year with the burpee pull-ups, now they do, and just put another one of those combinations together again? Do you think we see the burpee pull-up again this year?
I think it would be cool. I hope to see the burpee pull up. That's one of my favorite exercises. I just love it. I love it. It's great. It's tremendous. I would say, Chelsea, to answer your question, I don't know. In some ways, like I've hit crazy PRs on lifts. Have hit some like monostructural benchmarks, so to speak, that I've hit at my fittest. I think in some ways I'm probably fitter than I've ever been. In some ways I'm not quite there yet based off what I have and have not been able to do. So question is IDK. It's not the answer you wanted, but sorry.
I'm trying to think of anything else before you have to go.
Oh yeah, shit, I even forgot. Anything else? Anything high skill gymnastic over, not anything, but most things high skill gymnastic over Jason and Dallin for sure. Generally speaking, I'm probably going to get a text from one of them like, what about this, bro? Well, let's say if you have a list of 50 high skill gymnastic exercises, probably 35 to 40, I'm going to be better than Jason and Dallin at, maybe high. And I mean, high skill, maybe not, maybe that's an exaggeration. I do think my home run ability are for workouts that we don't typically see in the open. If that makes sense. I have really good general capacity. Machines, burpees, box jump overs, whatever, dumbbell snatches, great general capacity. My breathing is not going to be an issue. Muscular fatigue, unless it's a crazy amount of squatting, not going to be an issue at all. Hinging won't be an issue at all. Shoulder overhead won't be an issue at all. Just depends. 100% confidence I can beat Colton in anything on a machine. Running, if we ever did running. Definitely swimming. Definitely biking. Beyond that, I would say, like, I don't know, heavy clean and jerk workout maybe. Definitely pig flips. I don't know. I mean, we've done a lot of competition events against one another. Yeah. So, all
right. Well, I know you got to go. I know it's going to be a short show, but the plan, I think, if I can figure it out with my daughter, is if they're going to announce like at 2:30, I'm going to try to make it to where we are live as they announce it, and we can just talk about it.
Oh, well, what we're going to do, we might have to go after. Or maybe I can live from the gym and we can watch Bryson do it. That's our plan is for.
Oh, he's planning on doing it as soon as it. Okay. Yeah, just get on your phone. Maybe we can do it like that.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Just a bunch of shit talk. Deuces.